everybody, welcome to Fern Mountain Follies. My name is Lori Fry, and today I'm going to show you how to quilt one of these Dream Big Dahlia panels using the Quilter's Creative Touch system and a pattern by my friends at A Bit Orange. Let's get started. Okay, you can see I have my panel, it's loaded, it's ready to go. You might be asking, well, how do you know which way to load it, which way's up? A Bit Orange makes it super easy. As you can see, this pedal is this pedal right here. This pedal is this pedal right here. And if you just kind of look at the pattern, it just fits where the pedals match up and meet. So they make it pretty easy. You can just print that right off their website. You can email them. Their email's available there on their website. They're super easy to work with. They're great people and they're willing to help you. And you can also email me as well and I can help you get started. So let's go. On these, I like to work from the middle out. It's just easier for me. You can always start at the top. All of these are numbered. You can start at the top and go across and work down. That is just fine too. That's a completely valid option. You can just, paint by number, if you will. But I like to work from the middle out. I'm horrible about getting wrinkles out of things. So it's a lot easier for me if I just work from the middle out, and that's the way I'm going to show you how to do these today. But working from the top to the bottom is also an option. You just have to make sure that you keep your panel stretched tight so you don't have a lot of wrinkles. All right, my goal today is to make this panel look like this one. I quilted this one last week, I think it was. But look at the texture on this panel. Is that not beautiful? I just love all the designs from A Bit Orange. They're clean, they're easy to download, they're easy to use. And they're great people on the other side of the computer too. So if you ever have any questions about any of the designs that you may purchase from them, there's a Facebook group, and we're all willing to help you get started and get going on these designs. Is that not gorgeous? All right, let's get started. I'm not sponsored by Glide, but Glide is my personal preference on thread. There's lots of great threads out there, but I like Glide. It's clean. It doesn't, clog up the machine. It doesn't seem to break. I've only ever had one break, and that was a white. These are the colors that I'm using. Looks like we've got lemon ice, salmon, pink lemonade, lavender, sea mist, and for the blue areas we'll use marine. So those are the colors that I'm using, and we're going to start with the yellow. Okay, we've got QCT 5 beginnings open and ready to go. I'm just going to show you how to do this from QCT 5. I'm not ready to upload 6 yet. This is an old tablet. Old tablets and new technology do not get along well, and I'm not ready for those shenanigans. So for today's purposes, we're going to use this. Let's go to select and sew. I've already downloaded all of my patterns from A Bit Orange. If you need a video or you need help downloading them, just let me know. I will point out there is one little quirk, and I don't know what's causing it. Haven't figured it out yet. But if you download it as a QLI, it will distort the size. Don't know why. Talked about it with the folks over at A Bit Orange. We aren't sure why it's doing that. So just download it as an HQF instead of a QLI. You'll get the same patterns, but HQF, that format just seems to work a lot better and it doesn't distort anything. So I've got everything downloaded as an HQF, then I optimized it and then saved it as locally as a GPF so I could see all the little patterns on the screen. If you go down through, you can see all of them are already numbered for you. Everything's ready to go. If you don't optimize and save it, you'll just see it as this. So there's the HQF there. So the middle, let's just go to that. Okay, so we've got our patterns all ready to go. Number 33 is the middle, and that's where we're going to start. We're going to use the yellow thread. Out of control over here. Go back up, find number 33, get that loaded, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we have our pattern selected Go back to our default screen here. Got our pattern selected. I'm in the default placement screen. You want to go to your toolbox. Sometimes it'll show like that, but go down to your toolbox, go down to marking tool. We're going to use our marking tool and we're going to trace around the edge of our little pattern to whatever. So we have like a little line all the way around our pattern. And as we trace around it, we're going to very slowly trace around it and press the add button. As you press the add button, here, let me just show you. Make a straight line, kind of straight. What it does, it just puts a marking on the screen and it kind of gives you a visual guide on where to place your pattern. Okay, see if I can do this and not be too much in the way. So I'm going to be pressing the add button as I'm tracing around our little flower in the middle. And it takes some getting used to. You don't have to do it as fast as I'm doing it. We really just need like kind of a visual reference on where we're going to be placing this individual design. Let's see. All right, so you can kind of see it's off just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the best part about this. So we can move this over. Let's go down a little bit. All I'm doing is I'm moving my machine so I can place it where I want it. Oh, I need to go back up. Looks like we need to go up and over a little. And I kind of cut this corner off. And that's okay. No big deal. And I want to zoom in, so I'm going to press my toggle. I want to see it a little better. Over just a smidge. And you want to make sure, go back. As you're tracing this, the outer edge of your foot is not the center. The needle's your center. The needle's always going to be your center. So if you're trying to line up with that edge right there, if I can get in there, you want to make sure that your needle is going to be in the middle of wherever you're tracing at. All right, so back up here. Looks like I need to go over to the right a smidge. It takes some getting used to. But once you get the first one on there, it's pretty easy. The patterns will give you just a little bit of play. Whoa, what did I do there? Go up, over, riding the struggle bus today. Come on, work with me. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Okay, we're going to go ahead and press quilt. All right. And I'm going to need both hands for this, so I'm going to put you down again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press sew. I cheat a little bit. I don't like to pull my bobbin because I'm lazy like that. So I just pull my string through. Those little micro stitches. And we'll let that sew. I should have said this before, but I have this set at 14 inches, 14 stitches per linear inch. I don't like to do it any bigger than that because these little bitty tiny turns, if you know, imagine if that was a longer stitch, it probably wouldn't make as neat of a circle. So I like to make it as tiny of a stitch as possible, but not too tiny. So 14 works for me. I am super happy with how this turned out. Look at that. Is that not great? Pretty well within the lines, even up here at the top. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm going to switch thread colors and we'll move on to the next. Okay, so I think I'll go with this petal next. Got my orange thread, salmon, sorry. And that petal looks like it's going to be number 28. So we'll find 28 on here. Right there. And then you see that your old markings are still on there. All you have to do is remove all. And I want to sit you down for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and go mark this and then we'll get started. I should point out, if you go to your placements, if you don't like placing it from the middle, you can go to your placements and you can choose how you want to place it. If you want to do it from the start, the end, if you want to have 2 points. I don't recommend 2 points because it can distort it, but just, you can change if you want to use the corner, if you want to go from where it starts, and it really doesn't matter which one you use. I just like the center because I can kind of center these fairly easily. Let's see. And then when I press it, it'll be close to the middle. Over just a little bit. Too far. Alright, maybe smidge that way. There we go. So that one's placed. We'll go ahead and get started and we'll do that petal. One thing you can do if you're doing like a center placement or a corner placement, make things go a little faster. See, my foot is set in the middle. If you will find where it starts and go ahead and move it over in that general area, it makes things go so much faster. It may not seem like a lot, but 30 seconds adds up really quick. Let's press start. Got my bobbin pulled on the second pattern here. Turned out wonderful. I'm down just a little bit. Probably on the next one I might move it over, but I'm still well within the line. Turned out great. Really happy with it. All right, let's go to this one. This is number 25. So we'll find number 25. And I'm not going to show you all the petals because it will get repetitive and boring really quickly. So I'll zip right through these, but as I change colors from here on out, I will show you each layer as I do them. All right. So we're going to go down to marking tool, remove all, and go from there. See you in a minute. I've quilted a few of these now in the coral thread, and we're going to move on to this one. I think I'll still do coral. I'm kind of basing what color I use off of what the base of each of these are, and since this one is mostly coral, we'll just use coral for that petal. That's going to be number 18, and I've already got it loaded. I've already traced it, and can you see how it looks like it just needs to be rotated counterclockwise just a little? luckily, we've got a way to do that. So you go in here and you press your reverse because you want to go counterclockwise. I want to go 1 degree at a time and see how that does. Let's look here. Oh yeah, that's much better. It's not sitting on the lines anymore. So I'm happy with that placement. So I'm going to go ahead and I might move that over just a smidge, but I'm happy with how that sits now. We'll go ahead and get that quilted. Okay, now that I got the bobbin thread pulled on that one, you can see I got right on the line. It's off a smidge, but that's okay. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the placement. Doesn't overlap anywhere on the other threads, so good with that. I'm going to switch colors and we'll be back and we'll do this little bitty petal. Moving on to the next one, we've got number 23, and that's going to be this little spot right here. It's kind of heart-shaped. I've already got it loaded, and I already got it centered. I think I'm going to go ahead and use my placement screen and move it counterclockwise 1 degree, maybe 2. Oops. That's a little better. You see how the placement's just a little better? And it doesn't affect the other, anything else that you've already done, because you're still within the lines that, ooh, you're still within the lines that you traced. So you should be good to go. Let's get that one quilted. One thing I need to point out before we go any further is how I attach my backing, because this will affect you if you're working from the middle out. From top to bottom, no problem, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're working from the middle out, you want to make sure that you attach your backing around your backing pole, which is a pole that's furthest out towards you, down to your quilt top pole. And the reason for that is if you have it attached separately to 2 different poles, as it pulls down, it will actually rip some of your stitches out. So just make sure you have it free floating for your quilt top and your batting, and then put your backing around your backing pole and attach it down here to your quilt top pole, and then that way you don't have to worry about any of the stitches being pulled out right here in the middle as you're working back and forth. Moving on to the purple, I've got the last of my pinks there. This is a purple petal, so I'll use purple thread on that one. I've already got the purple loaded and ready to go. We're going to do number 14. Let's find that up here on our screen. I'll go get that outlined and we will place it together. Got my pattern picked out here. Number 14, I've already got it traced. It's about the middle-ish. We guesstimate around here. All right, that was close. Over a smidge. That placed. Up. Back down. Back up. It's a fun game of fine-tuning around here. All right, I think I'm gonna go. Oops, wrong way. Maybe one more. That looks a little better. Zoom in. Maybe reverse it one. I can't decide. Riding the struggle bus today. That's pretty good. All right, let's go with that. You can see I'm off just a little, but I'm right on the edge of this side, so it's okay. It might look a little silly, but I'll just make sure that these are pushed up against the edge. I love that all of these designs have just a little bit of wiggle room in there, so you don't mess up too bad. And look at how wonderful that stitching is. You can watch this all day long. Moving on to the blue, I've got my thread already loaded. And let's see if we can place this together. Right there. I always close. I think that looks pretty good. We'll go with that. Put you down for a minute, get this quilted, and we'll be right back. When you get over here to the edge, you want to make sure you put a base stitch just in the area that you're working. So this, it's kind of hard to see, but this line goes about right there. I'm going to put a base stitch in probably an inch on either side of this little area. And we'll do number 17 now. If you put that base stitch in, that'll keep it from, you know, going backwards, getting wrinkles. It'll just keep it nice and tight for you and keep all the wrinkles out. Alright, so this little section turned out pretty well. I'm happy with the placement. Didn't go over, barely went over on the selvage there, but I'm not too worried about that because that's going to be covered up with the binding anyway. So, happy with it. Let's move on to the corners and then I'll start to roll it up and show you how to finish. I'm going to have to pull a Bob Ross in this corner and make a happy little mistake. Sometimes as you're pushing these out, they get a little crooked, and that's okay because we have our rotation available there. So in this corner, we are just going to baste around the corner. I'm going to put green in the corner, so it's going to be these three patterns here. Or, oh, there we go. These three designs here, and maybe that one, I don't know yet. So these little designs right here, we're going to do in green. It's going to go in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and baste all of this down from here to the corner and from the corner on over. So get that started and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Pretty close to the edge. I'm okay with that. I've run out of daylight, so just go through this corner. I'm not going to do the rest of that right now. I'm just going to show you how to roll it up and get going on the other end, and then we'll end there. So we got the corner all done, all the basting, everything looks pretty good on the green. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I made it crooked on purpose right here, just so I could show you. Don't panic. Don't panic. If you sew onto the selvages, don't panic at all, because most of this 1/4 inch right here is going to be covered up with your binding anyway. So don't worry about this little part. It's not a big deal. It's no reason to worry. It is a little crooked, but again, don't worry about that. That's less than 1/4 inch, so that's just going to be covered up with the binding anyway. Not going to worry about it. Everything looks pretty good. Look at that texture. Love it. All right, let's move on. All right, we're back to the middle. I've got everything rolled up. I'm going to keep working on this off to the sides and down to the bottom. I don't have the greatest lighting, so I don't feel comfortable doing any more filming right now, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. A big shout out to A Bit Orange. Thank you so much for sending me this digital quilting design. I absolutely love it. All of their designs are great. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out, abitorange.com. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, Lori, at fernmountainfollies.com, or you can email A Bit Orange. I think it's info@abitorange.com. Thanks so much for joining me today, and happy quilting!